With Ford officially unveiling the new Ford Capri, today we're going to ask what's going to be the controversial question of, is the new Capri perfect or is it a disgrace on the Capri name? What's up? Welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. Yes, I'm slightly late to this, but better late than never. Last week, Ford unveiled the new Ford Capri, which they unveiled as a EV crossover, which a lot of Ford fans, a lot of Capri fans were kind of not happy about. Because the Capri has this kind of legacy of being this mini Mustang that was a lot of fun and had this cool sporty design. So to see it come back as a EV crossover that could have had the Volkswagen badge on it, Hyundai badge on it, and no one really could have told the difference is a little upsetting. But as someone who would consider themselves a fan of the Capri, I don't know if it is upsetting. Now, I'm not super for EVs. I don't really think they're the right solution long-term for society, but the Capri coming back as a EV SUV crossover isn't the weirdest thing. Now, before we really get too far into this, for those who want to know, the Ford Capri is going to be starting at £48,000. It's to be sold primarily or exclusively in Europe. It does 60 in about 6.5 seconds and makes about 282 EV horsepower. There's more expensive versions, there's faster versions, but that's pretty much what you need to know. So when people say Ford Capri, what they immediately think is the 1969 to 1986 Ford Capri. This thing was kind of labeled a mini Mustang for Europe. It was given 4 cylinders, it was given 6 cylinders, it got engines from Cosworth, it was cool. So to see it come back as a EV SUV is really unexpected, right? Well, I don't think so. So I think there's a fair bit of people who are actually into Capris that probably don't actually know this, but the Capri actually started in the late 1950s. During the 1950s, going into the mid-1960s, the Capri actually shared the name between Mercury and Ford. And for the most part, it was a trim level on some cars, it was a small sedan sometimes, it was a tiny coupe sometimes, but it switched around a lot. To the point where it got to like 1967 and the car that it was on looks like it was probably also on the Ford Galaxy platform, which is a big boat of a car. So before we got to the 1970s, where we got the Capri that everyone loves, there's a lot of changes. And the one everyone loves wasn't even like the final version of the Capri. The Capri started back up in 1991 as this Mazda Miata competition. It was small, it was pointy, it had pop-up headlights, and again, it was made to compete with the Gen 1 Mazda Miata. But nonetheless, the Capri has been a small coupe, it's been a sedan, it's been a muscle car, it's been a tiny little sports car. It's changed and evolved the entire time. So to see it come back as a EV SUV isn't that shocking. More I read into the Capri and more I learn about the Capri. So do I think this was the right option? No, I don't. See, this needs to be sold over in Europe, and Europe does have a lot more stricter rules long-term about EVs being sold than North America does right now. So to see Ford make a new EV isn't that shocking. What is shocking to me is the fact that it's an SUV. Now, as I said before, the most popular Ford Capri Ford ever made was from 1969 to 1986. That's the one everyone loves. And Ford knows this. So if you know that's the favorite Capri and that's the Capri everyone thinks about when they think Ford Capri, why not theme it off that? And Ford knows this. Think of the Bronco. They didn't use a Bronco 2. They went right to that 1960s, 1970s Bronco styling for the new Bronco, and it's doing great. So to make this into an SUV seems like kind of a foolish decision. And if you were to stop and tell me, okay, well, SUVs are selling better than sports cars, sure, 100%. But here's the other thing. The new Capri is being made off the current Ford Puma platform, which means this new SUV is being made off a pre-existing SUV. And on top of that, you can already buy the new Mustang Mach-E in Europe. They have a small crossover, which will likely be full EV at some point in the foreseeable future. They have a larger SUV, which is already full EV. This seemed to be filling a spot that didn't need to be filled. As when there's one unfulfilled market in the EV world that nobody's touching. When I say nobody, I mean not many. But that is EV coupes. Now let's stop and think about it. Lamborghini has the Lamborghini Lanzero coming out at some point in the foreseeable future. I did a video on it a long time ago, but that's coming out in a couple years. Dodge is making a EV version of the new Dodge Charger. Yeah, that's be happening. And Volvo did one a few years ago on the original Pulsar, which is a beautiful car. And there's also the Honda Prelude, which I'm pretty sure is going to be full EV when it comes out. But the market isn't being filled. So the fact that Ford is going to bring back the Capri name and make it into an EV and then completely skipped over this to go make another SUV, which they're already making, to me was a foolish decision. Again, I don't think having every single EV is a good idea, but if you're going to make them, fill the markets. If all of your EVs are going to feel kind of the same, why not give it a different body style? Why not give people a reason to go get that over the Mustang or over the Puma? Do I think the Ford Capri is weird or a bad idea? Honestly, not really. Seeing how much has changed throughout its life, this is really the most shocking thing to happen. If Dodge brought out a new Challenger and it was an SUV, yeah, totally. But seeing a Ford Capri come back as an SUV, okay, whatever. Do I think this is a missed opportunity? 100%. The only thing I will say is the Capri had this tendency to be the mini Mustang, and a lot of people are saying that's just not what's happening right now, but it kind of is happening. Think about it. It's a mini Mustang Mach-E. But anyways, as always, I want to know, what do you think? Do you think the new Ford Capri is a complete flop and Ford completely screwed up with it? Or do you think it's not a bad idea? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I post on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and I'll see you later.